Reporting. Let's get some more now on the Trump transition. Sean Spicer is Chief Strategist Communications Director for the Republican National Committee and has emerged as a key advisor to Donald Trump through the campaign, continuing that role right now. Sean, thanks very much for joining us.
Good afternoon, Wolf. Thanks for having me.
All right, you just heard Pam's report on emerging immigration ideas. Can you clarify whether or not there would be some sort of specific Muslim registry, at least some Trump supporters, not necessarily members of the transition team, but some supporters have suggested that?
Well, I think right now, Wolf, the president-elect and the vice president-elect are focused on staffing their administration and setting forth an agenda and priorities to be ready on the day that he takes that oath of office. So we're more focused on the staff and making sure that the staff is subsequently ready to enact that agenda. We're not going to get into specific policies at this time.
Because immigration clearly was a central feature of the president-elect's campaign. He's got very strong views. Is this a I mean, he said in recent days, since he was elected, immigration is one of three major priorities, at least on his immediate agenda.
It is. He's got that, repealing Obamacare, and really focusing on the economy and bringing back jobs. So, I mean, those are his three priorities. That's what he has tasked his staff and the people that are going to subsequently fill out his cabinet and other senior positions with doing, drawing out those policies, making sure on day one he and the team are 100% focused in enacting that agenda.
But you understand that Muslim Americans, indeed a lot of Americans, are concerned about some sort of registry, something along those lines. That's a source of some concern. You understand that, right, Sean?
I do. And again, I think if you listen to what the president-elect has said, starting on the night that he accepted that call from Secretary Clinton to his meeting with President Obama, that he has talked about making sure that every American is taking part of his plan, and that all of the lives of every American from one coast to another, his policies help lift all of them up.
How close is the transition team to naming nominees for some of the top positions, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, for example?
Well, look at the people that have come in and out of this building. Sutherland Safadi went through part of them. But over and over again, we're seeing some of the best and brightest, the most capable people in this country, from business leaders to successful people in government to outsiders to people like Secretary Henry Kissinger this morning, someone he has a long friendship with, who he's known for a long time, getting his ideas. People are drawn to Donald Trump right now. We had over 47,000 resumes at greatagain.gov. People want to be part of this administration, and you're seeing a number of these quality caliber type people come in and out, share their ideas with them, and then he is able to sit back and figure out who will be the best people to help enact that vision.
I know he's consulting with Henry Kissinger, who's now in his 90s. Clearly, Henry Kissinger is not looking for a job. But the other people who are coming in, and they are very impressive governors, senators, others with a lot of experience. Are these people he's consulting with, trying to get their input, or are they potential cabinet members?
I think it's a combination of both. As you've noted, Secretary Kissinger wasn't here looking for a job, but he was sharing his insight and his knowledge and back and forth with the president-elect. But then there's, General Keane, General Flynn, Mr. Fred Smith, Nikki Haley, Governor Scott, Senator Sessions, all of these individuals, and the list goes on and on, who are coming in, sharing their ideas, their opinions. But it's a back and forth conversation. In some cases, Mr. Trump has an idea of a way that he thinks that they could be part of his administration. In some cases, it's multiple positions. In some cases, frankly, it's just that he really respects them and wants to hear their ideas and opinions.
What about the South Carolina governor, Nikki Haley? Obviously very talented, very intelligent, very popular. Sources have told us she's being considered for Secretary of State. She was a pretty harsh critic of Donald Trump during the early stage of primaries. Later said she was supporting him, voting for him. But she has limited foreign policy credentials. Is she being considered a potential Secretary of State?
Well, first, I think what you pointed out was right on. Donald Trump right now isn't looking to figure out who supported him, who didn't. He wants to figure out who's the best people to enact a vision of change. And he will look at Republicans, Democrats, Independents, people who voted for him, people who voted against him. As long as they are committed to bringing change to Washington and making this country better, they can be part of this team. That's all he cares about. And so someone like Governor Nikki Haley, who's, as you pointed out, an unbelievably talented and successful governor, someone that he wanted to have a conversation with, hear her views and thoughts, and then figure out whether she is someone that could play a role in his administration. But no decisions have been made.
So when I hear you saying, Sean, no hard feelings, the president-elect is ready to move on, even if some of these potential people who will serve in his administration said not such nice things about him or didn't support him. He wants the best people in there right now, despite some hard feelings from the past. Is that right?
That's absolutely right, Wolf. I mean, his 100% commitment is to have the best staffed administration to enact change. And it doesn't matter to him what your political party was or where you stood in the primary. If you are the best person for that job, then he wants you as part of this team. And again, look at the caliber of people that continue to come in and out of Trump Tower over the last 48 hours and will continue to come in and out of and meet with him in the next coming weeks. It's unbelievable. And only a guy like Donald Trump could bring this level and this caliber of people to meet with him and to talk about how to enact real change.
Because yesterday, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, he showed up there. He was a Republican presidential candidate. They had some ugly words between the two of them. Is he now being considered for something?
Again, I'm not going to get into who's being considered or not. What it is an opportunity for Mr. Trump to hear people, what their ideas and suggestions, thoughts are about how to enact these real changes and real policies. And so he's not, I mean, as you pointed out, Senator Cruz and others who ran against him, his goal is to make this country better. That's it, full stop. And it doesn't matter what your party was, who you voted for. If you want to be part of change, you want to help enact and make this country better for every American, then you're welcome on this team.
One final question before I let you go. Sean, Prime Minister Abe of Japan making a special visit to New York. He will be the first foreign leader to meet with the president-elect. Tell us how that meeting came about.
Well, Mr. Trump has met with or spoken to now 32 world leaders. President Abe and him wanted to have an opportunity to meet privately. He will do that. But we recognize the fact that there is only one president at a time, and so they will have a private meeting, discuss, get to know each other a little better, and then once he is sworn into office, continue to have foreign leaders come visit, or he will visit them, and really start to, but he wanted to be ready on day one.
Okay, he's spoken on the phone with these 30-plus other foreign leaders. The only one so far he's meeting face-to-face with later today is Prime Minister Abe of Japan, right?
That's correct.
And when they spoke on the phone earlier in the week, Prime Minister Abe said, you know, I'd like to come over and say hi. Is that how it happened?
Well, I'm not going to get into the specifics of a private conversation, but let's just say that they thought it would be a good idea to meet. They're doing so privately because we continue to want to recognize that the United States can only have one president at a time. So they'll have this private meeting tonight, and then he will continue to talk to world leaders on the phone.
The United States has one president, that's President Obama right now, one president-elect, and that's Donald Trump right now, and that changes on January 20th. Sean, thanks very much for joining us.
You bet. Well, thank you.
As the